Hello and welcome to the Interactive and Immersive HQ. My name is Marco. I am a freelance TouchDesigner developer and also a master student in digital arts and creative technology in Barcelona. So if you also happen to live in Barcelona, hit me up and we might meet up and nerd out about TouchDesigner or something. And in today's tutorial, I will show you a kind of displacement technique that you can use on any input that you want. So the original in this case is just a simple ramp here on the left side. That's my input, and on the right side is a displaced image. And as you can see, there's even some mouse interaction going on. And we also, let me just close this here, we can also get another video filter out of it. It looks kind of more liquid. So I think this one here looks more like smoke, and the other one has this kind of liquid touch to it. And yeah, we can easily get both of these effects out of the same setup. And you can even like mix between them. So yeah, I think that looks kind of cool if you just want to add an interesting touch to your output. All right, but before we start, I just want to give you a brief overview so you know what to expect and which technique I'm using. So basically, we just use a UV map and add some noise to it, and then we use that as a source to instance a rectangle. Yeah, so actually this here is these are many rectangles that are instanced here in the geo, and this image or this video, we'll just add some post effects on it, and then we can use that as a displacement map to displace any image that we want. And we can also use the remapTOP and our UV map for this liquid filter effect. Okay, so that's the general stuff behind it. So let's delete everything, and I'm gonna start from scratch with you. So first we need a constant chop. We make two channels here, just call them X and Y. This will be the resolution of our instance source. So if you have the free version of TouchDesigner, the maximum is 1280 by 1280. But of course, if you have the educational version or the pro version, you can also increase the resolution. And then we're gonna create a remapTOP and set the resolution. You can actually use the constant values here as a reference. So just activate the viewer here and drag and drop it over and use this as a chop reference. And also change the pixel format to 32-bit float, so that the pixels not only have the color information in it, because we need some more for the UV map. Okay, so next step, add a flip and set the flop to bottom left. And then we just add a reorder top and connect first and the second input. And we change output green to input 2 and output blue we set to 0. So now we have this UV map. What's the UV map and why do we need it? So basically, each value in this image, each pixel in this image has two values between 1 and 0. So the top left pixel here has, I think, the value 0, 0, and the bottom right pixel has the value 1 and 1. And all pixels in between will have the corresponding values in between. And we can use that as a source for instancing. And maybe to better understand for you, let's just create this setup first. So let's say actually we want to instance a rectangle. So we're going to create a rectangle and plug it into a geometry. Also, we need to scale it down a lot here, actually to 0.0003. Yeah, like this. And then we also need a basic render setup. So let's just add a camera, render here, and we can also assign already a constant material. So just a white one. So I can just drag and drop it and choose material here. And now in our geometry, we can turn on instancing here and use this UV map here as the translate OP. And you can choose an R for X, G for Y, and B for Z. As you can see now, there's many rectangles that are instanced now. Kind of want to move our camera a little bit so that it's kind of centered. Also move the Z-axis closer so that it covers the whole screen. Just, yeah. Okay. Well, and now, yeah, we have many instances of our rectangle here, but nothing is moving and it kind of looks yeah, a little bit boring. So let me just add an RGB key here and a null, make a lot of space here and activate the viewer. All right. So now we can work on this UV map to yeah, get a little bit more interesting results. So you can just add a noise. So if you right click on this noodle here, you can just insert an operator and that kind of adds it in the chain. Okay, so we have our noise here. Let's first set the offset down to 0 and monochrome off. Let's play around a little bit with the values here till we find something interesting. So maybe let's set the period to 2, harmonics to 4, harmonic spread maybe to like, I don't know, 3, and the amplitude pretty low. Actually, let's play around a little bit more with the harmonic gain, and also we can animate the z-axis here with abs time dot seconds. Oh, that's a little bit too fast, so maybe times 0.05. Yeah, let's just play around a bit till we find something that looks nice. Oh, yeah, the amplitude. Yeah, let's maybe just leave it like this for now. So as you can see, our UV map looks already displaced here. And this obviously changes the position of our rectangles that we instance. So right now it looks already way more interesting. And let's make it a little bit more interesting. You can just add another noise. So insert another noise, also set the offset down, and also connect the second input here, so the noise coordinate map. And change the C to whatever you want. We have to reduce the amplitude a lot so that it doesn't get too crazy. And again, can play around here till we find something that we like. So play with the exponent here. Now you can also play around with the scale. So for example, we increase the Y scale, we kind of get this kind of wavy or starry look to it. And of course, we can also animate this one here again. So apps time dot seconds times 0.25. Okay, I think that looks already pretty cool. Maybe just adjust it a little bit more. We don't want to go too crazy here, or a very low harmonic spread. It doesn't make a big difference. Yeah, maybe something like this for now. We can still adjust it later. So, okay. But now, I mean, this is not what we want. We don't want just to have some noise here. We want to add this effect on some of our video content. So just say, just create a ramp quick here. A circular ramp, and want to have this kind of turquoise color, black. And here we can also animate the face again with my favorite expression, apps time dot seconds times 0.2, so it's not so fast. Extend left, I like to set to mirror to get the smooth look here. And yeah, maybe we can also reference the resolution here, the correct one. All right, so this is our source video now that we can manipulate. And how can we do it? So we can just add a displaceTOP here, like our input in the first input here, and in the second one we use our kind of instanced video that we have, and it kind of looks a little bit weird because the displace weight is really high. So let's set it down to 0.1 and 0.1, and you can see we could work a little bit more on our noise tops, and also want to set the resolution in the render here as well to get a little bit better quality. All right, so I think our second noise is a little bit too much. Let's maybe turn off monochrome here and increase the period to like 5. And amplitude, we can play a little bit. The exponent. It's this. think it's moving too fast. So maybe 0.05. This here is also a little bit too much. The scale. Try the scale here, the X. Also in first noise. Yeah, it looks already a little bit nicer, but I'm still not really happy with it. Like I said, you can really, with these values, you can play around a lot till you find the look that you really like. This kind of looks very smoky as well, like that. Let's try to find even better. Alright, maybe for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, to make it a little bit more smooth, let's add a feedback loop here. And you can just middle mouse click on the output here. And then you can add any operator. So I'm just gonna add a feedback. Then let's add a blur. And also a level top. And all this needs to come back into a composite, which is set to over. And we can drag and drop the composite on our feedback. And now it's just all white because we still need to reduce the opacity of the feedback loop. Maybe to 0.9, 0.91. Let's blur it a little bit more. Yeah, that looks already way nicer. So just crank up the filter size here to 32. Could even add more, but I'll just leave it like this. Okay, so this is kind of the smoky look displacement, but we can also get to the same setup if we use a remap and we connect our ramp as a first input, and as a second input we need our displaced UV image, so all the way from here. And as you can see, we also get now this kind of liquid look. It has some transparent corners, but we can fix that by setting extend to repeat. And yeah, this is now the basics of this tutorial. And now we can add some interaction with our mouse. So maybe I'm just gonna leave this one here in the background. So the way we can do it is by creating a circle. Just gonna scale it down maybe to 0.1. And we need our mouse position. So let's create a mouse in chop. Yeah, this gives us here our TX and TY position of the mouse, and also connect it to a math. So I can adjust the values a little bit. And the null, always use the nulls. Okay, and then we can connect the mouse values to center parameters here. And as you can see now, we can move our circle around. I'm just gonna multiply this maybe by 0.5 so it doesn't go out of the screen. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and now we can basically use this circle here to displace our UV map even further. So a right click and insert operator, another displaceTOP. Oh no, that's the wrong one. It's not a displace. Displace. And let's add a null to our circle before we add it as displacement. And it kind of looks weird because the displace weight is way too high. It's like to put it down to like 0.1. And now we kind of have the circle thing going on here. Looks a bit weird though, so maybe let's make it a little bit nicer. And with feedback, we can make everything look nicer. So add a feedback. Let's add a level here and also transform before we plug it back into a composite. Is it composite? This we set to over as well. And we use the composite on the feedback here. So just drag and drop it. And again, we need to reduce the opacity here. Let's also change this to 32-bit float. Then we get rid of this. Like some of the feedback sometimes stays and never really goes away. But if you set your input tops to 32-bit float, that doesn't happen. Okay, it still looks a bit weird. Let's maybe scale it up a little bit inside the feedback loop. And I'm gonna need some more space here. Let me move everything to the right so we have a little bit more space. And maybe we can also blur that. So just use a blur here. Crank it up to make it more smooth. All right. That works. And as you can see here, this is influencing now our UV map. And of course, the render. Okay, how does it look for the fluid effect? Yeah, I also really like it. And yeah, that's it for the tutorial. You can really play around with these noise tops here, like with all these values to get very different looks out of it. So this is really, yeah, just like a preference. And if you want to add even more detail, you can insert even more noise operators in here. Just make sure that you set the offset to 0 and the amplitude to something not too crazy. You also use different seeds here. Yeah, here the transform parameters you can also play around with and animate. Yeah, adjust it to your likings. Even here with the scale, you can play around. So the possibilities here are endless. All right. I hope you like this technique. It's actually a very simple and creative technique to make your content look more interesting. Yeah, I mean, if we compare it here. So on the top right is the original, on the left is our displaced image, and on the bottom our remapped image. So I think that's a big difference already to the original.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like our YouTube content, I highly recommend you check out the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro. The HQ Pro is the only comprehensive educational resource and community for immersive design, TouchDesigner, and creative tech pros. In the HQ Pro trainings, we cover almost any topic you can think of, and we go way more in depth than we do in our YouTube tutorials. We have a private group where Matthew Reagan, myself, and our other industry veteran and pioneer teachers answer your questions every single day. If that sounds cool, click the link in the description to learn more. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more free TouchDesigner and immersive content.